Fantasy Baseball Code Red on InRadio.com.
Did you order the Code Red?
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
All right, good morning, Fantasy Baseball fans. Welcome to Code Red. Here we are, another day, Saturday here in Long Island. And we have a different looking cast of characters here today. One familiar face, the General is here, but we have a new guest analyst today because we have missing two guys. I'd like to introduce Steve, the Guru, Ruddy.
Thank you, General.
Steve, welcome aboard. Pleasure being here. And both of my other co-hosts today are previously engaged. So it'll just be us two today. We'll take you through everything, and we're going to start off the show today with the Fantasy Baseball Week in review. And the first thing I want to talk about, the first thing I want to review is what happened out in LA earlier in the week, which resembled more like championship wrestling than it did anything else. I think we have a video of the brawl that went on out in Dodger Town, which was a little bit of an ugly incident. But when you're ready to run that, Christine, have at it so we can all see it. Thank you.
He's from Caracas. And did that hit him? I think it went behind him and hit him. Oh, wow. They grounded out and popped the bunt out. And now they're liable to get angry after that. Uribe is mixing it up a little bit. He's in the middle. Well, Skyler went down on one knee. Being restrained by Matt Williams, and then they grabbed somebody and threw him down on the ground. And they are still knotted up. And now Mark McGuire and Kurt Gibson, and Matt Williams is going to restrain Matt McGuire. And Matt Williams keeps saying, no, no. And McGuire saying,
All right. That resembled more like my childhood championship wrestling watching on Channel 9 back in the day. I was waiting for Chief Jay Strongbow to come out, or maybe Haystacks Calhoun. Guru, I got to tell you, Major League Baseball has got to put a stop to this kind of thing. This is out of hand. You cannot have a beanball scenario escalate to this level in the major leagues. It's embarrassing and it's dangerous. And I got to tell you something, like you mentioned earlier, while the clip was running about guys getting hit in the head. I mean, this is beyond belief. I don't like it at all.
No, you don't mind a pitcher standing up for their teammate, and you want to hit somebody. You throw a pitch, you hit them in the ribs, you hit them in the legs, whatever. Never, but what Kennedy did to Greinke, that's just uncalled for. You don't go for somebody's head in a beanball war.
No, and the thing of it too is that I don't know if people realize this or not, but I looked it up, and Kennedy has hit the most batters since the start of the 2012 season through this incident earlier in the week. He's hit the most batters in Major League Baseball. Now, I don't really recall him being a headhunter, so to speak, but it doesn't sound too good when you've hit the most guys in the league, and now you're involved in something like this. And of course, he's not pitching well on top of it all. So,
Right.
But the thing that I can't deal with is that, when these things get like that, and it looks like that, and we had Kirk Gibson, you had Alan Trammell, you had Don Baylor, Mark McGuire, Matt Williams, Don Mattingly, Donnie Ballgame, Donnie, out there tussling, and I don't know, that's a scary scene. These guys are, not young guys anymore, when I saw Puig come back into the picture, throwing a couple of haymakers, and the suspensions were ridiculous. I know you went through the suspensions a minute ago. It was silly.
Right. Kennedy, you understand 10 games, you're throwing at somebody's head, but Hinsky got 5 games basically for getting hit.
I didn't even see him.
Right. Baseball does have to put an end to this. You're always going to have hit batters. Guys are always going to stand up for their teammates, which is right. But what Kennedy did, you never go for a guy's head.
Yeah, I think they have to do something that is either more serious in terms of how they handle suspensions, where it's like, guys, you know what, it's going to be a minimum 30 games or something, because this is going to go on. Because for a pitcher, especially a guy who's not a good pitcher or he's not pitching well, 10 games, what is that? Maybe 1 start, 2 starts maybe? Not a big deal.
Right.
Other guys, 1 game, not a big deal. So now all of a sudden it's, not such a big deal. And the fines are probably money-wise are not going to be a whole lot. To me, it just makes more sense to come out with something stronger if you want to actually stop, because scenes like that are not good for the game, and they're not good for, obviously, for players' health. Guys get hurt other ways. They get hurt in the brawl.
Right.
I mean, Puig sat out the game after that, I think, with a sore shoulder.
Yeah.
They said it came from batting practice, but I don't know. I think it came from the haymaker when he's coming over the top trying to hit somebody,
And he had to throw the next day where he was throwing a bullet, and that throw just came in, high and soft. So who knows how that's affecting him.
Yeah. And I also think that the umpires, I think, kind of let this one get away from them a little bit. I think they should have been more on the ready. And maybe, maybe Major League Baseball's got to do something where they say to these teams, hey, look, here's the situation. You guys are responsible for your dugout. Guys start filing out of these dugouts in these situations, just like in hockey.
Right.
That's it. This is what we're going to do. I guarantee you will stop this. If you start doing something, you may not stop it, but you will put a crimp in it to the point where it won't be as bad as it is now. So, beanball incident behind us. Kennedy, we'll see you when you get back. Not having a great season. No really big loss from a fantasy perspective. Hopefully Puig is not injured. So, we move on.
Well, you got a replacement for him anyway if he is injured.
Who?
Puig.
Who?
Springer.
Oh, Springer. Well, listen, I don't know. There's not a word. We'll get to him shortly, but I tell you, they have not said a word about Springer in the entire time that in the last few weeks when he's been hitting, it seems like Houston doesn't want to bring him up. But moving on to our next topic here in the Fantasy Week in Review. Not that this is really news, but I guess it might be noteworthy. Our man, Ike Davis, now, or Ike Vegas, as he's more affectionately known, has returned to AAA. He's down there with Wally Backman trying to figure things out. Listen, this is a lost cause. Now, the Admiral has him on 4 fantasy teams. So to him, this is a major blow. But this guy is not going to come back and be a useful player this year. And if he does, he'll be a flyer guy. He's not going to be the kind of guy you're going to depend on.
Now, he's out in Vegas with Elvis, and I guess we can all say Viva Ike Vegas, because I don't think we're going to see him for the rest of the season.
He's already off to a bad start there. And they're talking about changing his batting stance and raising the arms, lowering the arms. I don't know. I think that we're at a point now with Ike where you write him off this year and maybe see if next year he comes back.
Yeah.
Another guy came back, Giancarlo Stanton. Came back and hit the ball a little bit, right?
Yeah, no, he's showing some pop. He's also got a little added protection now that Logan Morrison is back. So he's not the only bat in the depleted Marlins lineup.
Yep, he could suffer greatly from having no protection without that type of hitter near him in the lineup or behind him. He's off to a decent start, 6 for 16, I think. He's got a homer, 5 RBIs. If he can stay on the field, I think he'll be a big asset for a fantasy owner. Even though without the protection, he's still going to put some. They got to pitch to him eventually. He's still going to put some numbers up. So even with the bad lineup, he's still going to get some fastballs. He's going to get something to hit. So he's still valuable. And the big news is, I guess if you're a Met fan or if you're a Zach Wheeler owner, is finally we're going to see Zach.
Yes, he'll be up Tuesday pitching in a doubleheader with the Admirals man crushed, Matt Harvey, against the Braves. Matt Harvey will do better than he has in AAA because he won't be pitching in Vegas, which inflates your ERA, your WHIP, and adds to the power numbers hit against you. You know, if you look at his splits between home and the road, his road splits are much better, and that's what I think Met fans are going to see with his numbers.
I agree. I think that you're going to get a player that is ready to be in the major leagues. If you look at him all throughout his progression, he's pitched well along the way. And this year, like you said, AAA, Vegas, what is that, the Pacific Coast League?
Yeah.
All right, that's a hitter's league, and his ERA is up over 3.90 or whatever it is down there. I wouldn't worry about that. I think you get a major league team behind you, get a cavernous stadium behind you in Citi Field, get a major league lineup out there, and probably he'll be, if not as good, probably better than what he was in AAA.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at his numbers real quick, he had his last little tune-up start. He had 5.2 innings, 1 hit, 2 walks, 7 Ks. On the season, he's 68 innings. 68 innings pitched, 61 hits, 73 Ks, 27 walks, 3.93 ERA, 127 WHIP. In that league, that's good numbers for a pitcher.
Oh, that's very good numbers.
I mean, I know we all want to hear he's got a 2.13 ERA and he's got, a .87 WHIP, and we all want to hear that, but I think this is good enough coming from where he's coming from to where he's going to be. So we'll finally get a chance to see, and I guess the dynamic duo is going to pitch both ends of this doubleheader, you're saying,
yeah,
right?
they will, and one of the pitchers they might be going against is Beachy.
Really? Beachy is coming back on that? That's his first start back?
That's what they're talking about, him coming up for that one.
There's another piece of news. Brandon Beachy, if you sat on him or if he wasn't drafted in your league and he's out there, might be worth a flyer coming back from Tommy John surgery, pitching for a good team. Might be worth a flyer, see where it goes for him. But again, guys like that, I always feel a little bit like you might be getting a 5-inning pitcher the rest of the year.
Right.
They're going to be very careful with him. So, but still well worth it. If there's nothing much out there in the league that you're in, take a chance on Beachy too.
Yeah, you pick him up, you sit him for the first couple of starts as he gets his arm back into shape and used to major league hitters, and then hope he rounds back into form.
Yep, gets loosened up a little bit and see how he goes from there. Unless you have a need to use him, you just throw him right into the fire in your lineup. Jim Henderson back for the Brewers, part of our closer carousel type of guy. But it sounds like K-Rod's going to get a couple more closing opportunities here to try and get, I guess, his 300 career save.
Right, so, and increase his value for trade, too.
Right, they're probably more than likely, and that's the other thing that we haven't really talked about much in our closer carousel week to week. But the other thing to think about with guys like K-Rod, and there are other examples of this throughout the league, are these guys that are the secondary pitcher or the second closer on these teams. As we get closer to that trading deadline, that could be the closer that you do not have or that you're missing. That could become your closer. So he's sitting out there right now. A lot of these guys end up being undrafted or they're a free agent because they really provide very little value because they don't close.
Right.
So if they pitch a couple innings a week and they just give you a couple of strikeouts, it's not worth it. But as you get closer, or even now, if you want to take a chance before the trading deadline in Major League Baseball, you grab one of these guys, you throw him on your roster, and you wait. And if he doesn't get traded, or the other thing too is the closer himself could be traded. So either the team that he's on or the team that he's going to could become, a place where he can get some saves for you.
Yeah, Detroit definitely needs a closer with Valverde.
Yeah, I thought they had found the lightning in a bottle again with Valverde, but it sounds like he's blowing up now again.
Right.
Again, is a problem with a closer in Detroit. He just can't get it straightened out. I think Jim Leland is now smoking 2 packs a day versus the 1 pack a day he's used to.
Could be.
The other guy I'll just mention, throw out there, is Garrett Cole. Had his first major league start this week. Nice start. I mean, it wasn't like overwhelming, but it was a nice start. 6 innings. What did he give up? Two runs, 7 hits, no walks. Got the win. And he'll be pitching, I guess, tomorrow versus the Dodgers. That is a nice little. If you picked him up in our league that I'm in, I know he was drafted, dropped, and then picked up again by someone else. which a lot of guys did that. They just didn't see him coming up, but now he's there, and could be a very good added bonus for your team.
Well, that's, those are guys that are hurt by that Super 2 rule.
Yeah.
Teams are keeping players down because they don't want to give them that extra year of arbitration.
Right, so they end up waiting until this time of June, because this will push them out, so they're not really 3 full years. It'll get them to be 2.5, or just not enough to be arbitration eligible 1 year earlier, which I almost can't blame them, because the difference between if these guys pitch well or hit well, the difference between what they would have gotten, which is the major league minimum of $550,000, I think, versus what arbitration eligible players could get, could be $10 million a guy.
Oh,
so
without a doubt.
if you're the Mets and you bring up all these guys, Zach Wheeler, Travis d'Arnaud, they have other guys actually, and you bring them up at the same time, and all of them hit, and all of them pitch well. Next thing you know, it's going to cost you $100 million in arbitration.
Yep. And then you do what the Marlins do, and you trade them away, and you start over again.
Get rid of everybody. So, it's interesting now. We're starting to see some of these guys come up. Getting a little bit harder now to predict who's going to come up and who's not.
Right.
Because now we've seen the first wave come through. We didn't even mention it, but also part of the news should be Mike Zunino, Seattle Mariners catcher, is up.
And he started off on fire for the first couple of weeks in AAA, and then has been in a slump. So it's kind of shocking that they brought him up right now. But he had a home run last night, so who knows what's going to happen with him.
He homered last night, but not only that, they released Kelly Shopbeck, who was the starting catcher. They released him yesterday. They brought up a backup catcher, I guess, into the mix out there in Seattle, basically saying to the kid, this is your job, go get him.
Right.
That could be exactly what he needs to take off. So and keep an eye on him, and if he's available, that is a must pick up. When we talk about catchers, this catching position is a very difficult position to manage, and between guys taking 3 days off a week or 2 days off a week, or getting injured. If a catcher gets injured, there's no replacement.
Right.
So if you have an opportunity to grab a guy like Zunino and you already have a decent catcher, just sit on him. Could trade him later. You can do things with him. It's a valuable guy to have. If you haven't picked him up already, there aren't a whole lot of prospects out there for catcher. So my suggestion is you go out and grab him, see if he hits. And I agree with you. Hasn't hit well, but he's got 11 homers and 45 RBIs down in the minors. Hasn't hit well of late. 243, 245, but this was really his first real backward movement in terms of his batting average was the AAA this year. I mean, prior to that, he was a pretty solid play. So
he had a solid, Arizona Fall League numbers.
Yeah.
That's why if you're going to go catcher, you pick somebody up like a Carlos Santana, who isn't a full-time catcher. He catches, he plays first, so you're going to get 145, 150 games out of him instead of maybe 125.
Right. I mean, a guy like Willen Rosario that I drafted, who I think hit 32 homers last year and 85 RBIs, great guy, great catcher, great everything. The problem is he takes off at least 1 game a week or 2 for rest, and he doesn't catch. Which guy is he? One of the pitchers he does not catch. They have a personal catcher for that guy, so that's like 3 games a week.
Right.
So right away you're dealing with a guy who's going to play 4 games out of the 7. Forget there's an off day in there. It's like the guy never plays.
Yeah.
So you almost need to have 2 catchers, and like you said, if you got a guy like Napoli. Or maybe a guy like that's eligible like Santana,
Posey.
These guys are eligible at other positions, and they can take their day off on the field as opposed to behind the plate. Or if they're not even catching anymore and they're just playing every day at first base or DH, even better. You got anybody else from last week's fantasy review? Anybody else you want to throw out there that you thought was noteworthy?
No.
Go to break.
No, that's about it.
All right, Christine, why don't we go to the break now, and we'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Revio.com.
Stop putting it off and start painting it up today at Ben's Paint Station, featuring Benjamin Moore paints, Sickens, wood finishes, paints, and professional paint supplies, ideal for contractors and homeowners, stain paints and epoxies, family owned and operating, in business for over 55 years, professional and experienced help, located at 2 locations, 55B Route 25, Coram, Long Island, New York, and 1495 Plaza Montauk Highway, Mastic, New York. Call them at 775-7435 and 775-8135. Ben's Paint Station, featuring Benjamin Moore Paints. Log on to the Enravio Advertisers page today.
Stay in tune, guitar strings.
Guitar strings, bass strings, polish, and accessories. Stay in Tune Guitar Strings, Akron, Ohio. www.sitstrings.com. Hey, this is Chuck from the Two Guys and the Chick Show. Check us out Wednesday nights from 7 to 9 Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about stupid news, email bag, and all-around BS. Two Guys and the Chick Show, only on enravio.com, broadcasting to the world.
If you want to increase business, you've got to advertise. Contact Resonant Voiceovers for an effective, affordable commercial spot. Our production, audio, and editing personnel will create top-quality recordings to promote your business. Start getting internet exposure for your business today, right here on enravio.com. To contact Resonant Voiceovers, go to the Enravio Advertisers and Sponsors page and click on Resonant Voiceovers. Resonant Voiceovers, when you want your message to resonate.
Hanging with the cool kids at enravio.com.
Good Times Magazine, New York's best entertainment paper for 43 years. Check out their calendar for all the latest music info, including New York City, Queens, Nassau, and Suffolk. Studio News brings you the biggest news about the hottest artists and sounds. Techno Beat is your guide to electronica, techno, house, and dubstep. Packtrack keeps you up to date on the biggest events at the area's performing arts centers and theaters. Good Times Magazine gives you all this and more. It's bi-weekly and it's free. Pick up your copy today or visit goodtimesmag.com.
All right, welcome back to Fantasy Baseball Code Red here on enravio.com. And we'd like to let you know that the Psychedelic Furs are coming to Paramount Theater in Huntington, Long Island, Friday, June 21st at 8 p.m. And Enravio's got your tickets. You a Psychedelic Furs fan?
Remember them from the 80s, one of the alternative rock
Pretty in
bands.
Pink,
Love My Way.
Love My Way. Some of the hits you remember from your disjointed youth. Click on the Win Now link right on the homepage to enter on enravio.com. Log on to ParamountNewYork.com for a complete listing of all the shows. Remember, you need to be able to get to the Paramount in New York to win these tickets. So there it is, Psychedelic Furs at the Paramount. Log on and take your shot at winning the tickets. All right, Steve, Guru Ruddy, we're going to go on to an injury update in Major League Baseball. And a couple guys that I think there's some action on, some news on. Jose Reyes, is he almost upon us, ready to go?
It sounds like he is. You know, he's starting his rehab hopefully on Monday, and they're talking about the end of the month. But, you know, as Reyes with his main asset is speed, you know, you don't want to rush somebody like that back too fast, as Matt Kemp realized last year with his hamstring.
Yep.
So, you know, he's somebody you hope will be back by the end of the month, but maybe, you know, after the All-Star break.
I tell you, this one is a devastating blow. I had drafted both Rollins and Reyes. I thought I was good with a backup and a starter. Obviously, my starter was Reyes, and big key for me, he was going to be my stolen base guy. And I really don't care about anything else he does. I really just want him to steal bases, and I have a feeling what you just said is going to happen. He's going to come back and probably not be stealing bases at the rate that we would have expected. He'll probably hit.
Right.
He'll probably hit. I mean, he'll help me out. Either way, he's my starter. But I'm just saying that I'd rather have him steal the bases because that's what I have a need. But I think you're going to have him tiptoeing in slowly with that. He may not even be the same the rest of the year. That was a serious injury. That's no joke.
No.
So Reyes coming back soon, and maybe hopefully, I'm hoping before the All-Star break. I'm hoping, you know, maybe in a couple weeks you rush him along. He's already playing rehab games, so it's got to be close.
Hopefully.
Another guy that went down this week, I guess, is the Kung Fu Panda.
Well, that was an entry waiting to happen. I think he might even outweigh me, which is hard to believe.
Oh, Pablo. I think we talked about this guy earlier in the year where I said, I asked if he was hitting his weight because he was hitting 350.
Right.
And he just looks so out of shape. I mean, this guy, if you have him on your roster, you're going to have trouble with him the whole rest of the way. 2 weeks it says here now. I don't know if it'll be longer than that, but
there's somebody who would be a perfect American League player as a DH.
Yeah, he should be.
Yeah.
He has eaten himself into DH-dom. Next stop, Detroit. Looks like Bryce Harper is still a little ways away yet.
Yeah, that's hurting the Nationals, who are not playing as well as they thought they were.
Yeah, I think that a guy like that right now, starting to worry about his season at this point. I don't know. I'm just getting a bad feeling that between injuries and not playing, that what we thought was going to be this phenomenal start and a great year, all of a sudden could turn out to be just okay season. But
yeah, but he's the type of player that could get hot in a month, and
Yeah, he
carry, especially playoff time in a week-to-week league. He could carry your team.
yeah, I mean that's the bottom line too. And the other thing we don't talk about as often as we probably should is that most leagues are designed with playoffs beginning right around that first few days into September. Usually it'll run for 3 weeks. There's a whole strategy involved with how to handle your playoffs because of pitchers that have been shut down, teams that don't care, teams that are giving their players rest. There's a whole lot going. When we get later in the summer, we're going to talk a little bit about how to handle that from a strategy standpoint. But to your point, if your team, like let's say the Nationals are in the stretch run, these guys will be playing every day.
Right.
They'll be in the lineup every day, playing every day, which is what you want. You don't want them taking breaks because you want their stats. And the big blow, the big one,
Oh,
your boy Tulo, man down again. I mean, this guy cannot stay healthy. I don't care how good he is, he can't stay healthy.
5 times in the last 7 years he's been hit with a major injury.
It's that many?
That many.
That's horrendous. I mean, guys like this, you love them, you want them, especially at a position like shortstop where it's, very few guys can hit like that, if any, except for him. But the risk, I know for a fact this was the Admirals' first pick in the draft. Because of where he was picking, that was it. But, but the risk with this guy, the risk reward, if he plays the whole season, it's a home run. But you never know. These guys don't play. That's why, Derek Jeter, in my mind, granted, he's at the end of his career now and everything else, and he'll be back for injury, weeks from now, probably after the All-Star break. But this guy plays 150-something games every single year, year in, year out, and nobody really talks about that. That is a credit to him because that is so hard to do. And Tulo now down 4 to 6 weeks, and I guess they brought up the kid to replace him.
Josh Rutledge.
That's
who has improved his walk to K ratio in the minors. That was what's killing him in the major leagues.
And a more than suitable replacement, and I think in some leagues eligible at second base maybe
Yeah,
as well.
second base, shortstop eligible.
Yeah. Aaron Hill will be back soon, another week or so. He should be back, so get ready to put him back in the lineup.
Yeah, if anybody has dropped him, that's a good second base option.
That's if someone dropped him, that's a fantastic second
Right.
base option. A.J. Burnett on the DL, strained calf. I'm not too worried about that one. He's probably going to be a couple weeks away. The thing is with these guys go on the DL, and then by the time they come back, rehab, and play again, a month goes by.
Right.
And so David Price looks like he is getting closer and closer to returning. Late June, I guess, early July. But with him, I'll make my caveat statement. I don't think you're going to, I'm just getting that feeling you're not going to get a whole lot out of him this year. How do you feel about David?
Well, I was reading something that in the last 2 years, his average fastball has gone down 3 to 4 miles per hour. And, is that an injury? Is that being overused? You don't know. But anytime, you lose 4 miles an hour off your fastball in 2 years, and as young as he is, that's a warning flag.
Yeah, I don't know. I got a bad feeling about him. If you're a David Price owner, I would start making other arrangements and just consider him to be a big question mark when he comes back. Not the kind of guy who's going to go in there and come back, go 7 innings, strike out 10, and give you the win. I wouldn't be looking for that from him. Steven Strasburg on his way back. Seems like a seamless transition right back into the rotation. Is that what we're looking at?
That's what we're looking at. And now the Washington Nationals don't have to worry about his innings pitched this season with him hitting the DL.
Right.
But there's somebody, I forgot where I was reading. He's only gone into the 8th inning once in his career.
Yep.
So while he's giving you, good strikeout totals, he's not giving you the innings pitched.
Right. Yeah, he's become a perennial 6-7 inning pitcher tops. A lot of times 5. They're very careful with him. They always were before. This kind of injury, maybe they won't. But I don't know. He's probably going to be a 5 inning pitcher for the next month or so, and then maybe he'll build himself back up to a 7 or 8 inning pitcher again. Another guy, a couple more guys we'll mention here on the injury report. No big deal. Anibal Sanchez missing a couple more starts, shoulder stiffness. He's had a incredible run. I don't know what to say about him, maybe except that I can't believe he pitched as well as he's pitched. But he'll be out for a couple more weeks. Listen, I don't even know how he was doing what he was doing before, and I don't know how he's going to do when he comes back from the injury.
Well,
So,
he's always had the talent, but he's one
never
of those
put it together.
guys like Tulo that if I'm in a single season league, those are guys that I avoid because sooner or later they're going to hit the
they're
DL.
gonna get you. Yep. Let's see, Daniel Hudson. We already talked about him. He's going to head for his second Tommy John surgery. So if you went out and grabbed him, thinking he's coming back, you can go ahead and drop him again.
Yeah, you can drop him.
He's
Throw
done.
him aside.
It's over for Mr. Hudson. Jake Peavy. This is an interesting one. Is now on the DL, shut down for at least 4 to 6 weeks with an issue with the rib cage. This one brings back into play, I think, a little bit more seriously is, if I'm not mistaken, you might know better, Hector Santiago.
Yeah, talented left-hander, has some control issues, but if the White Sox would just leave him in and let him get his innings pitched, he would throw up some decent numbers.
Yeah, I
good
think-
number 5 starter for your
I
staff.
agree. I think that's a guy that is probably available in a lot of leagues because he's been unstable in terms of his role. I'd grab him right now if he's available in your league and run with him. Probably going to get a good long look here at good old Hector. And he's got some good numbers. I don't have him in front of me at the moment, or maybe I do, but I think he had like 55 innings and 56 Ks, decent numbers for ERA and WHIP. So listen, you could do a lot worse than Hector Santiago right now. He's out there. Go ahead and grab him. This one hurts me. This is my pet peeve. Johnny Cueto returning from the DL, or has returned from the DL, and will join the rotation. And of course, Tony Cingrani has already been sent down, the phenom pitcher for the Reds. I don't know. This was a tough one for me. I'm thinking to myself that some of these major league teams, the Mets are already doing it. The Reds should do it also. It's time for a 6-man rotation. If you have the player, if you have the players to do it.
Yeah, but these pitchers are used to pitching every 5 days, and you have to remember back in the 70s they were pitching every 4 days.
Yep.
So how much more are they going to baby these arms? Have them pitch once a week and a
True.
50 pitch count.
Yep, I hear you. But the thing is that I always think to myself is that these guys are constantly getting injured. I mean, we talk about how we want to keep them on a regular schedule, 5 days, this and that, and we don't want to disturb their, like I guess Latos and some of the other guys. You don't want to disturb their rhythm, but it just seems to me like these major league rotations are just being fractured every year anyway. So take a few innings off the arm, go to 6-man for a little while. Maybe you don't do it for the whole year. Keep Cingrani in the majors and go. To me, to send a guy like that back down again is pointless. This will be his, 3rd time going back down and coming back up again?
Right.
So,
we also have relief specialists. So if they get 6 innings out of a pitcher, they're happy. Then they bring the 7th inning guy in, the 8th inning guy, the loogie guy, the lefty-only guy before you go to your closer.
Yep.
So these guys aren't pitching, anywhere near what the guys did, 30, 40 years ago.
yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what the answer is, but I just feel like a guy like Cingrani should be in the majors and should be pitching. And it's a shame to have him go down. What did he have? 1 start, pitched well again?
Yeah.
He had 1 start, pitched well again, and goes back down again. Yeah, mentally, it has to have a little bit of an impact on him. I'm sure he understands the situation. I'm sure they've spoken to him and said, hey, we know you're ready, but we're in a situation where we have 5 good starters, and we want to run with that. And who knows? Again, if you're a Cingrani owner, this is what I would do. I have him, actually. I'd hold on to him, and let's see what happens. A trade could be coming, and that could be the next place where you get, a chance to use him. So, all right, we're going to go out to the Strawberry Festival. And I believe we have Jamie out there at the Strawberry Festival, and that's in Yaphank, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to hear from Jamie now at the Strawberry Festival. Jamie, you out there? Jamie, you out there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, Jamie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys over there?
We're doing fantastic, and you are out at the Strawberry Festival, I understand.
Yes, I am. I'm at the Strawberry Festival in Yaphank with Glenn Calderon and Patty from Beatles Across the Universe.
Fantastic. What's going on out there?
A lot of cool stuff. It's like a giant yard sale. It has a lot of character. They're selling some cool stuff in the booths, and there's a lot of opportunities to enter contests and win, and everybody's hanging out. It's a lot of fun. There's some cold drinks, cold snow cones. Really nice way to spend a summer day.
And you got a great day to do it, and you've got Glenn Calderon out there with you, and it sounds like you guys have the Enravio.com van with you. what a great opportunity to go out and have some sun and say hello.
Yes, it's wonderful. And actually, there are some delicious strawberries, and Patty is freaking out. She is having the best day of her life. Here, Patty, how do you feel about these strawberries?
They're awesome. They're better than the ones I've been getting locally.
Well, you heard that. You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. The strawberries here live up to the name, Strawberry Festival. Glenn, how you feeling?
I'm doing good. It's a beautiful day. The rain is gone, and we're having a good time today. Lots of activities going on, and we're making our way around. And the strawberries just arrived. So Sergeant Petticat is doing a dance right now. She's doing a strawberry dance, so you got to see that.
Yeah, maybe we can get a visual for you guys of Sergeant Patty doing the strawberry dance. It's very entertaining. She's honestly the best act here.
All right, it sounds like a good time out there with Patty, Glenn, and Jamie at the Strawberry Festival, and we'll see you out there. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
All right. All right, so Strawberry Festival doings out there in Yaphank.
Yeah, finally, the weather's cooperating.
Yeah,
for 'em.
absolutely. I think we're going to go to a break right now, Christine, and when we come back, guys, we're going to start the next segment. So we'll see you guys in a few minutes.
What are you waiting for? Everyone else is advertising on the internet. Shouldn't you? Tired of small returns on phone books, newspapers, radio ads, TV ads, coupon books, direct mail? Everyone is on the internet every day. Advertise on the internet for as low as $100 a month. Over 250,000 impressions per month on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Enravio.com, and more. Go to the Advertise With Us page on Ravio.com and get started today. Termite Marine Contracting offers all stages of dock building, including brand new docks, repairs on existing docks, pole setting, dredging, and decking. Termite Marine Contracting covers the south shore of Long Island from Massapequa to West Islip. With more than 25 years experience, full crews, and the right equipment for any job. Got a job you want done right? Call Termite Marine Contracting at 516-449-4567. That's 516-449-4567. Or follow us on Facebook. Termite Marine Contracting. When you want it built right.
Glitz and Glam Boutique. Book your little princess's party today. Glamorous birthday parties. Girls' Day out packages. Hair accessories and jewelry. 5A Canal Street, Center Riches, Long Island, New York. Phone 631-909-7428.
Enravio.com.
East End Screen Printing and Embroidery. Shirts for as low as $3 with print. 631-281-TEES. That's 631-281-TEES. 1355F Montauk Highway, Mastic, Long Island, New York. Go to eastendssilkscreenprinting.com for more info.
Hey guys, it's Christine from Backwater. Tune in every Saturday night from 7 to 9 for music history, musicians' birthday blocks, trivia time, and the best alternative music around. Saturdays at 7, only on Enravio.com, broadcasting to the world.
All right, welcome back to Fantasy Baseball Code Red. I am the General, sitting here with the Guru. And before we get started again, I just want to let everyone know that the Psychedelic Furs are coming to Paramount Theater. You remember the Psychedelic Furs from your,
yes,
youth?
I have them on my iPad.
You have Pretty in Pink on your iPad?
No, I go with more the unwell-known ones.
All right, they'll be coming to the Paramount Theater in Huntington, Long Island on Friday, June 21st at 8 p.m. And Ravio's got your tickets. Click on the Win Now link right on the homepage and enter to win. Log on to ParamountNewYork.com for a complete listing of all the shows. Remember, you need to be able to get to the Paramount in New York to win these tickets. We'll see you guys all out there at the Psychedelic Furs. All right, we're going to move on to the next segment now, and we are moving on to my favorite segment, and the Guru's favorite segment, I think, is the waiver wire, because that's where, if you're going to change your team without making a trade, that's where it's going to happen. A couple guys that we'll throw out there on the waiver wire, or one of the first guys I'll mention right now, is Mike Karp. Mike Karp on Boston, all of a sudden, getting a chance to play. 9 for his last 23, 3 homers, 6 RBIs. Could be a short-term fix. He's probably not a long-term fix.
No,
so
he's a career minor leaguer.
Yep, could be a fill-in guy. I guess because Napoli's injured or whatever, there's a situation there where he's getting some playing time. Garrett Cole, we already mentioned previously. I mean, by now, I suspect he's no longer available on the wire, but depending on who's in your league and how savvy they are, he may still be out there. I suggest you pick up Garrett Cole, Pittsburgh pitcher. We just talked about Santiago, Hector Santiago.
Right.
Should be another definite waiver wire grab. We talked about Mike Zunino earlier, another guy. Who else you got? Anybody else that we...
Colvin was called up from Colorado. You know, he hit well for them last year. A bad spring sent him down, but he's somebody who gets, if he gets hot, he can carry your team.
And he's playing on a team that seems to just get hit with tons of injuries. So
Right.
one way or another, Colvin's going to play. What did he do the other day? He had a couple of homers the other day. He's 5 for 18 since he got back. 2 homers, 7 RBIs. Definitely worth a waiver pickup. Seems like he'll get some playing time. Kenley Jansen, I guess, taking over the closing duties. Is that what we're doing with him?
Yeah, well, I seriously doubt he's
He
on the
shouldn't be
waiver
available.
wire.
Should not be available. He should be probably gone in most leagues. But if someone, you know, if the league you're in has him out there as available, he's definitely a grab. Same thing with a guy like Josh Rutledge. By now, depending on your league, he may still be available.
He may, you know, depending how quick people, you know, heard the Tulu news.
Yep, and he's second base eligible. Definitely, based on what's probably out there, if you're in a 14-man league or whatever, he's probably a good option at second base if he's second base eligible in your league. And even at shortstop, actually, when you think about it. He's good in both positions.
Decent replacement on that.
Another guy I'll just mention, I'm going to throw his name out there. Everyone will probably say, forget it, but you know, Joe Saunders all of a sudden is pitching well again.
I'm not a Saunders fan.
Listen, I never was a Saunders fan, I tell you, but I mean, his last several starts, not just a few, but I mean, his last several starts have been real good. I think over his last 6 or 7 starts, 4 starts, he's got a 2.03 ERA, 16-5 K to walk ratio. So, you know, not bad. You know, pitching well again, but again, short-term fix more than likely. I doubt you're going to get a full season out of him of good pitching. Who else we have on that wire?
Oh yeah, you have Adam Harang who threw a shutout.
He's another one though. He's thrown 2 shutouts this year.
Right.
So, but his overall season stats are left a lot to be desired. I don't know how I feel about him. I think he's a spot start guy. In other words, if you're in a league where you need to push the pitching categories over the top on a Sunday, and he's there, and the matchup is good.
Yeah.
If you're pitching against you know, a team you think he can handle, yeah, why not? Give him a shot.
Yeah. Somebody I'd stay away from that's been pitching well the last couple of starts, Jeremy Bonderman.
You know, it's funny you mentioned him. I have him highlighted in my league as a watch player. ERA's at 3.86. I don't know. I think he's a matchup guy.
He never had the K numbers when he was younger.
He's not going to have them now either.
Right.
But I think he's a matchup guy. I think he's the kind of guy, you know, all these pitchers, now he's on Seattle, right?
Yes.
All right, he's on Seattle. Harang's on Seattle, right?
Yes.
Okay. All these guys that pitch in Seattle, they seem to, you know, if you get into that ballpark and it just seems like there are times where they're unhittable. He's a matchup guy. You get a team that's maybe playing Kansas City or something like this, you know, it's a matchup type guy. He's not going to be a guy you're going to plug in and just forget about him for the rest of the season, but keep an eye on guy and possibly a matchup guy on a weekend.
Well, if I'm going to take a Seattle guy that I'm going to hide for a couple of weeks, it's going to be Erasmo Ramirez. He's been pitching well in AAA. He pitched well for them last year. He got hurt in spring training. They put him down in AAA. You know, here's a guy when Bonderman and Harang come back down to earth, he's going to step up and give you good numbers and good K numbers.
All right, now he's, was that AAA?
Yes, AAA.
AAA, was it Tacoma, I think they have for Seattle. So is he someone that's maybe on the horizon, like in the near future, or is
Yeah, I would say you should expect to see him up within 3 weeks.
So the move there probably would be, assuming that everyone pitches well, let's just assume they're all going to pitch well. The move there would be hopefully a trade of Bonderman or Aaron Harang, and they bring up the kid.
Right.
Right. That's what you have. That's the way you got to kind of look at these things. Is that it's not so much about where the guy is today. It's what's the next move for that team. Seattle's going nowhere as usual. So to me, there's no point in having. Maybe you could make a case for Bonderman. You can make no case for Harang, for him to be on that, be starting pitcher for the rest of the year there. Right. If you have a guy ready to go, so which they do.
And you're not even talking Holtzen or Walker.
Right. Right. That's the other thing. And then the other guy's injured. Is it? Holtzen actually is the one that's injured.
Right. He's got the strained collar.
Strained shoulder. Probably not going to see him. And I don't know what happened to Paxton.
Paxton has been hit hard the last few starts.
Okay, he's getting racked.
Yeah.
Forget about Paxton. If you're not pitching well down there, don't even think about taking a fly.
Walker has turned it around in Double-A, and you got to remember he's 20 years old pitching in Double-A ball.
T-Juan Walker. If you don't have anybody else on the waiver wire, I'll jump into the farm.
Okay.
The farm is interesting. The farm, which we just kind of were talking about the farm anyway, but the minor league players that are out there right now that could possibly help some major league teams. It's very hard to predict this. This is where guru status comes in.
Yep.
This is where you got to really, this is a tough one. There are guys like George Springer that is playing Double-A, not Triple-A, but Double-A is fine if you're producing for Houston, that I would have thought would have been up by now, and he's not up, and it doesn't seem like there's any whispers that he will be up. He's down there with 18 homers, 50 RBIs. He's got 19 stolen bases, hitting 300. I don't know why they have him down there at this point.
Well, the only downfall to him that I see is he's striking out about 40% of his at-bats, and you want to work on that before you bring him up to the majors. Brett Jackson last year for the Chicago Cubs, perfect example. Yep. He had the bad K ratio, came up, and I think he had 80 at-bats, and he K'd in 50 of them, it seemed.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's true. It just seems like with Houston, it's like, come on, guys, seriously, you got to bring this guy up. And now they have Jonathan Singleton, who's now hitting his way back into the majors, I think. Right. Or he's never been in the majors, but hitting his way back through the system to get a call up to the majors. I was just looking him up, and since he came back, 57 at-bats, he's got 5 homers, 13 RBIs, hitting 280. Coming back from drug suspension, I think he was tested positive for marijuana, 50-game suspension. So I guess they're kind of like letting him work his way back through the system. First baseman, I believe. Should be a path to the majors for him, too.
Oh, without a doubt.
I don't know. So, I mean, Springer and Singleton both should be up. I don't understand where they're at with these guys today, but...
it's the case. They don't want to destroy their confidence at such a young age.
I guess.
Turn into another Ike Davis.
Yeah, we've got enough, Chris Carter.
Right.
He's striking out left and right. So I kind of get that. I mean, back in the old days, back in the 20s and the 30s, if you struck out as much as these guys today, you sent you home. Forget about playing minor league baseball. They just sent you home. Who else you got down the farm? Anyone
Well,
else?
I see the one on yours, and a personal favorite of mine in keeper leagues that I've, stashed last year, is welcome to the Xander zone pretty soon for the Red Sox.
Yes.
Here's a guy, again, 20 years old, just promoted to Triple-A. He started off slow in Double-A, but he picked it up. He was tearing the cover off the ball. The guy's going to be a stud. Without a doubt.
So too, and
it's
very
whether
quietly.
he stays at shortstop, they're saying, but they said the same thing about Cal Ripken for how many years, and he did. Here's a guy, Drew is an injury waiting to happen.
Always. We can write it down right now. Stephen Drew will get injured soon.
Right. Iglesias is a good glove. He's just, hitting unbelievable right now, and it's not going to last. The Red Sox, like Baltimore did with Machado, it could be the middle of August. They realize they need that extra push. They're going to call up Xander.
I'll tell you what, Guru, I don't know if we're going to see him this year. If he comes up this year, I would be a little surprised. Injury, okay, that's one thing, injury. But if he comes up and becomes a starter, I have a feeling they're going to just take their time with him. I love to see him right now. If you look at his minor league numbers, everywhere he has gone, he has hit.
Yep.
He has not been overmatched. He's been a 300 hitter at every level. Now, granted, he's 20 now. He probably got into the minors at 17, so that's 3 years or whatever it is. But has never been overmatched. He's not overmatched now. He homered in his first game, I think, or second game in AAA. So, there's no stopping him. I'd love to see him come up. He would be a huge get. He is available in a lot of leagues where he was already, I guess when the season started, he was already part of available player list, which is always kind of cool. Yahoo has gotten better with that over the years, where they're putting these guys that are starting the season in the minors and never played a major league game in their lives, but they're available on the free agent list.
Well, it depends on how the commissioner sets the settings too.
Right.
You know, if they want people to stash guys like this, or when they come up to the majors,
Waiver
that's
wire.
when they hit the
Yeah.
waiver wire. You know, one guy that's not up, and it's the organization. If he was still in the old one, he would have been up already. Is Will Myers.
Yeah, you know, I don't understand why. I mean, I guess I do understand, but I mean, by now I would think that it'd be a good time to bring him up.
Excellent time to bring him up. And that's Tampa Bay. They just, you know, the small market team, they don't want to pay him. I don't understand it. He would be up right now if it were me, but that's just the way Tampa Bay works things.
They kind of handled David Price that way. Came up as a reliever in the playoffs that one year. He was a short reliever. Then they kind of handled, I guess, was it Jeremy Ellickson that way?
Right.
And the other guy whose name I can't remember. It just
Matt
seems
Moore.
Matt Moore. It just seems like they kind of like take their time with these guys. And I don't know. I think with a guy like Will Myers, I think the time is now. I can almost understand it with the pitchers, you know, to a degree. But with the hitters, I'm kind of like more like get them up to the majors and see if they can hit.
Right.
You know, that's the way I feel about him.
And, you know, Myers has proved that he can hit. He's a hitter.
I totally agree. Anybody else down on the farm that we think might be on the horizon?
You never know, depending on injuries, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anyone else that I could sit here today. The only guys I would just mention, just as a side note, really not waiver wire potential, but just something that just I can never understand. The Mets are always, you know, claiming, or the Met fan is claiming, there's no prospects, there's no minor leaguers, there's nobody. At the major league level, we have no outfielders, we have no nothing. Looking at their minor leaguers here, there's plenty of guys here that should be given a shot. Andrew Brown hitting 357 in AAA. Granted, it's in Las Vegas, but still, 357 is 357.
Right.
I don't care where you're playing. You can play in the Grand Canyon, it's still 357. 6 homers, 38 RBIs, and he has major league experience. Wilmer Flores, 310, 6 homers, 49 RBIs at AAA. Plays second base and first base.
Well, that's because, you know, they have the man right now, Valdez being at second base, are given a shot.
I just doesn't make. I mean, Darno we know about. He'll be up. Double-A, they have Cesar Puello, 330, 13 homers, 46 RBIs. He's an outfielder. Sandy, come back to us. Terry, you got some players here. I think you got players, no?
Yeah, you do. You know, and for a team like the Mets, those are the guys you give it a chance.
And the big one is your boy, this guy.
Montero.
Rafael Montero is sitting down there. I mean, granted, he just got the AAA, but he's another guy that certainly could help them at the major league level, I would think. So for all those Met fans out there, and you know, and the Mets themselves saying, we don't have players, we don't have outfielders, I'll tell you what, I'll take a shot with Cesar Puello and his 330, 13, and 46 over Colin Cowgill.
Right. Or Marlon, you know, Bird is not going to be the word for next year.
Yeah, no, he's going to, yeah, exactly. And the fact that he's hitting off the charts too right now. Marlon Bird could be a waiver wire pickup if you want, but he's a short-term guy. He's hot, you play him, and then that's it with him. You're done with him. He'll go back to his old ways.
You know, somebody I forgot to mention that could be called up in the next week is Gibson from Minnesota.
Yes, Kyle Gibson, pitching very well. I would have thought he'd be up by now as well.
Right.
Again, another guy that they're just taking an extra week or two, but should be up, especially in that they don't have any pitching there.
Right.
You know, he should be up by now.
You know, and which Florida outfielder do you think is going to be up next? You think they're going to promote Yelich or Marisnik?
That one there is another tough one. Both guys. I mean, I think Marisnik is actually hitting a little bit better than Yelich, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. I don't know. Another tough one. I mean, probably at the end of the day, they probably should both be up. But I think that more than likely you'll see Yelich first, and then I hate that guy's name, Mrazek, whatever his name is.
Marisnik or something like that,
Yes.
I believe it's.
He'll probably be the second guy up, but both guys definitely worthy of a shot. So especially on that team, that's a great place to get a shot.
Well, without a doubt.
There's no one can. I mean, it's a bad team, and there'll be no pressure. The expectation level is low, you know, and Stanton could use the help, definitely. So, all right, that's pretty much it for Down on the Farm. Do you have any two-start guys for next week that might be good two-start pitchers that we could throw out there that have some good matchups? Maybe they're playing a team that they can take advantage of. Let me see, a couple guys that, well, there you go. Bud Norris. Here's a perfect one. He's pitching against the White Sox and the Cubbies, right? Yeah, 2 teams that can't hit. So if you need a 2-start pitcher on the waiver wire, Bud Norris might be out there. We talked about him earlier. His strikeout rate is down, but pitching against 2 teams that struggle to score runs. So you can take a shot with Bud.
You know, some of these are obvious. You know, you obviously, if you're not going to pitch Darvish, there's something, you know, wrong with you the way you think in a fantasy league. So those guys you don't even want to bring up. You know, it's a lesser known guys. Here's one, Jason Vargas for the Angels. He's got Seattle against Bonderman, and, you know, Pittsburgh against, you know, Wandy Rodriguez, who's coming off the DL.
And Pittsburgh, again, is having trouble scoring runs. Both their big guys are in a slump, sort of.
Right.
So it's another good matchup right there. That's a good one.
You know, Mike Leake.
All right, that one, I mean, he's a definite must-play right now, but probably not available in most leagues, I don't think. But take a look. If he's available, he's pitching against who? Pittsburgh and Arizona. Arizona's having trouble scoring some runs, too.
And Miley's proven he was a flash in the pan.
Yep.
Here's a guy that I would say is a buy low player right now.
Matt Cain?
Matt Cain, an ERA before his last start, over 5, but all his ratios were the same. Problem with him was a long ball. It's a location.
Yep.
But here's a guy, some teams just might be getting sick of him. If you can make him play for Matt Cain and get him, you know, for less than $1 on the value, pick him up.
Okay. All right. I'm all on board with that. And we're going to wrap it up in a couple minutes here. I just wanted to throw one more thing out there. For you Met fans, again, I'm a Yankee fan, but I'm throwing out there for the Met fans. I read this morning that your 2009 draft pick from Ward Melville High School out there in Setauket, Steven Matz, who got $1 million signing bonus, if you recall, out of Ward Melville High School, 95-mile-an-hour left-handed fastballer. My son was playing high school ball at the same time, so I was keeping track of Matz. If you remember, he was signed, tore up the arm, had the Tommy John surgery, disappeared off the face of the earth. I read he pitched, that was last night or the night before, 5 1/3 innings, struck out 10.
Nice.
He is back and healthy, and Frank Viola is his coach. So he's Class A right now, but you know what? He's only 22.
Yeah.
And you know what? The Mets may get, they may get something for their money there. You know, all those Modell's jerseys that were flying off the shelves when Matz got signed, you know, we may be hearing from Steven Matz just yet, so don't write him off. I think that's a wrap for today's show. And thanks for watching, Guru. Good job on your first show here
on General.
Fantasy Baseball Code Red.
Hopefully I'll be the Lou Gehrig to the commish and Admiral's Wally Pips.
Maybe. You never know. Guys, be careful, because now the Guru has made his appearance here, and we'll see what happens, all right? Guys, we'll see you all next week. Thanks for watching Fantasy Baseball Code Red.